to Crypto Moonshots. Great to have you guys here. If you're new here, welcome. So let's jump straight into it. Today we're going to be talking about Chiliz, and we're going to be looking at a few data points to kind of tell us what we think can happen with the price in the near future. So let's just start off very simply going over the support and resistance lines. I drew a lot of them just because, this price, it's been going kind of all over the place, and it's establishing a lot of new lines because it's at an all-time high. So let's take a quick look at that. And before we get into that, I always like to look at my previous videos just to see what I said and what I kind of, I guess, luckily just predicted, right? By complete luck and chance, nothing is certain in crypto, but we were kind of right here. That's where again, this trend line's wacky, but bear with me. I'm not going to fix it to what it was in this video. You can go take a look at it yourself. But I made an assumption that it's going to go up, okay? And it ended up going up around 20%. So congratulations if you watched that video and just went with what I speculated out of complete luck. Now, what I did assume, right, and I'm going to be honest, what I did assume was I thought we could make it here, but obviously we didn't. And let's just kind of start off by just taking looking at this graph kind of at a zoomed out angle. And what we can see, so there's good news and bad news, right? The bad news is that like that swing high, like we can count this too. Swing high, lower swing high, right? Lower swing high, lower swing high. So the swing highs have just been lower and lower, okay? And if we look at the swing lows, we can see that, that swing low, and then this is a little bit lower, and then lower, and then lower, okay? So that's the bad news, okay? That's the bad news. The good news, however, is that I still believe in this project and it has utility, but we'll look at the good news in terms of technical analysis one second once I fix this trend line, okay? So the good news is if we zoom in, so far this has been able to hold this trend line, okay? This has been able to hold it. So as you can see, it came down, created a new daily level. Again, these yellow lines are daily, and then the light blue is the 4 hour, okay? And then it established a new line, okay? And then it pushed past this 4 hour, it pushed past it, and then got rejected by that trend line right here, okay? And then now it's at the bottom of the trend line, okay? So I really do think that we have a possibility of holding that trend line and going up to here minimum, right? Whether it can push past this level of 0.56, that's up for debate, because if we kind of look at it here, it got stuck there once, stuck there twice, got rejected, 3 times, and then the 4th time around it didn't even make it that far. So I do think that we have a possibility of coming up here, okay? Whether we push past this, I don't know, but if we do end up coming over there, that's an easy like 25% gain, okay? So that looks pretty good. Now the other possibility that can happen, and why you got to keep an eye on it, is if it breaks through this bottom of this trend line, I think it could test this level for sure, okay? Maybe it is possible that it could come down here, but I don't think it's too probable, and I'll tell you guys why in a second if we look at the other data. If we look at the RSI and the MACD. So I do think that we're going to be able to hold this. Again, hopefully, I don't know what's going to happen, but hopefully we'll be able to hold this, okay? We've been able to hold it so far, but I think if we are able to hold it, I think it'll be bullish, and I think we'll be able to test this line, okay? So that's what I'm assuming is going to happen based on data, okay? Again, if it doesn't hold that trend line, so you got to look at this. You got to look at this trend line. If it's going to hold, it's going to go up, obviously, right? If it doesn't hold, it's going to come down, okay? So it's all about holding that trend line, whether we hold that or not, okay? So now let's take a look at other things, other indicators that can kind of help us see what's going on, okay? And this is, so this top right-hand side, and I'm not sure how familiar you guys are, but I'm just going to explain it to you like you're a beginner. This is RSI, okay? And when it's at the top, okay, that means it's overbought, and when it's at the bottom, it's oversold, okay? So if we take a look at this, we can see that when it reaches the top, and let me try to zoom in here a little bit for you guys. I apologize. So let's kind of take a look at this. So when it's at the top, right? Again, when it's at the top, it's overbought. When it's at the bottom, it's oversold. So right here, if you look right here, and this line lines up with the with the left hand side, right, we can see that it was overbought, right, which is part of the reason why it came down, right? And then now we're entering the territory when it's at the bottom, it's oversold, right? So when it's oversold, the price gets pushed up and then becomes overbought, price gets pushed down and then becomes oversold, okay? As you can see here, right? So right now we're kind of at the oversold area based on the RSI. Again, this is something that can just help us if we look at the indicator. So right now it's looking like it's being oversold, okay? So since it's being oversold, you would assume that based on the RSI, it's going to go up, right? And then it's going to enter the overbought region, okay? And then if we also look at the MACD, right, basically it's pretty complicated to explain, but I think if we can just look at this visually, we can see that there is green waves, right, and then red waves. So these kind of correspond to the price. Like if you see this green wave, right, that green wave corresponded with a 45% increase, okay, based on from the bottom of the red wave to the top of the green wave was about around 45%. And as you can see, if we kind of draw this out like this, right, we're kind of entering the peak of the red wave on the MACD, okay? So I think that might be an indication, because it's an indicator, to get it, that can be an indication that the red wave is going to come down and then create a new green wave, okay? So that's what the RSI and MACD are telling us. And then if we look at the trend line, if it holds, that's a good sign. So I think that based on, again, everything could be wrong, right? But we just look at some data, and you can't control the market, but you can kind of use tools to help you what you can predict. So if we were to make a prediction based on data, it tells us that it's going to go up. So I think this is a great buy area right now. And so let's get into kind of what I quickly wanted to talk about. Okay, so Chiliz has real application, right? And this guy says, I will invest, or girl, this guy or girl said, I'll invest and hold despite the prices dipping, right? Just like all these, this coin has real utility. And I think that if we go on the Twitter, right, Man City is starting to promote its upcoming fan token, right? And then if you go on this website, people can actually buy fan tokens for their favorite sports themes, right? Favorite sports teams. So there's real utility being used right now. As you can, if you know about Man City, it's a very big club in Premier League in England, and they're kind of already promoting it. So I think this coin has real utility, and this is all kind of short-term stuff. If you think about it long-term, I think we're up for, at least 2, 3x, 5x your money with Chiliz. So I'm a big supporter of this project. I am in it. So that's all I kind of wanted to talk about today, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please hit that subscribe and like, and join the Telegram. All right, bye.